Hello boys and girls, this is Graham Slam here, ready to read you a story. The story is written by Carle, and the name of the book is A House for a Hermit Crab. That's his house. Here's the hermit crab. Early in February, Hermit Crab found just the house he was looking for. It was a big shell and strong. He moved right in, wiggling and waggling about inside to see how it felt. It felt just right, but it looked so, well, so plain, thought Hermit Crab. In March, Hermit Crab met some sea anemones. They swayed gently back and forth in the water. "How beautiful you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to come in and live in my house?" "It's so plain. It needs you." "I'll come," whispered a small sea anemone. Gently, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his shell. In April, Hermit Crab passed a flock of starfish moving slowly along the seafloor. "How handsome you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to decorate my house?" "I would," signaled the little sea star. Carefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and put it on his house. In May, Hermit Crab discovered some coral. They were hard and didn't move. "How pretty you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to help make my house more beautiful?" "I would," creaked the crusty coral. Gingerly, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it upon his shell. In June, Hermit Crab came up upon a group of snails crawling over a rock on the ocean floor. They grazed as they went, picking up the algae and bits of debris and leaving a neat patch behind them. "How tidy and hard-working you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to continue to help clean my house?" "I would," offered one of the snails. Happily, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In July, Hermit Crab came upon several sea urchins. They had hard, sharp, prickly needles. "How fierce you look," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to protect my house?" "I would," answered a spiky sea urchin. Gratefully, Hermit Crab picked it up with his claw and placed it on his shell. In August, Hermit Crab and his friends wandered into a forest of seaweed. "It's so dark in here," thought Hermit Crab. "How dim it is," murmured the sea anemone. "How gloomy it is," whispered the starfish. "How murky it is," complained the coral. "I can't see," said the snail. It's like nighttime," cried the sea urchin. There it is, all dark. Dark and a little bit scary. In September, Hermit Crab spotted a school of lanternfish darting through the dark water. "How bright you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would one of you be willing to light up our house?" "I would," replied the lanternfish, and it swam over near the shell. How lucky to find a lanternfish down there in the dark. In October, Hermit Crab approached a pile of smooth pebbles. "How sturdy you are," said Hermit Crab. "Would you mind if I rearrange you?" "Not at all," answered the pebbles. Hermit Crab picked them up and laid them one laid one by one with his claw and built a wall around his shell. "Now my house is perfect," cheered Hermit Crab. "It's perfect, perfect, perfect." But in November, Hermit Crab felt that his shell seemed a bit too small. Little by little, over the year, Hermit Crab had grown. Soon, he would have to find another, bigger home. But he had come to love his friends, the sea anemone, the starfish, the coral, the sea urchin, and the snail, and the lanternfish, and even he loved the smooth pebbles. "They have been so good to me," thought Hermit Crab. "They are like a family. How could I ever leave them?" In December, a smaller hermit crab passed by. "I've outgrown my shell," she said. "Would you know of a place for me?" "I've outgrown my house too," answered Hermit Crab. "I must move on. You are welcome to live here, but you must promise to be good to all of my friends. I'm going to miss them so much." "I promise," she said. The following January, Hermit Crab stepped out and the little crab moved in. "Couldn't stay in that shell forever," said Hermit Crab as he waved goodbye. The ocean floor looked wider than he had remembered, but Hermit Crab wasn't afraid. Soon he spied the perfect house, a big, empty shell. It looked, well, you know, a little plain. But sponges, he thought, barnacles, clownfish, sand dollars, electric eels. Oh, there are so many possibilities. I can't wait to get started. And that's the end of our book.